If you've lived with anxiety for a long time, even as a high achiever, there's usually a quiet fear sitting underneath all the strategies you've tried. The fear isn't just that the anxiety will go away, it's that if it did go away, you might not know how to function without it. For a lot of people, anxiety has been the thing that has kept them alert, prepared, responsible, or safe. Even when it's miserable, it's familiar. And that's why the idea of not being anxious can feel vague or even unsettling. Now, I want to start this final video in this series by reframing the grid. The goal of somatic work isn't to eliminate anxiety. It's to make anxiety stop being the loudest signal in the room. But before we go into all of that, I want us to pause because different nervous systems integrate energy, anxiety differently. What feels like relief for one system can feel destabilizing for another. And if you want to understand how your nervous system tends to organize under pressure, which anxiety pattern you're most likely coming from, there's a short Somatic Skins Quiz assessment in the description below. It's not advice and it's not a diagnosis. It just gives you a map so that you are not trying to force a version of calm or regulated that doesn't actually fit your system. Now let's talk about what integration actually means. When coherence starts to return, anxiety doesn't vanish. It might even come by a different name. What changes is its role. Instead of dominating your attention, anxiety or extra charge becomes one signal among many. You can notice it without being sucked into it. You can feel activation without immediately needing to fix, suppress, or explain. The system has enough capacity that the signal can move through it instead of taking over. This is often subtle at first. People don't wake up one day and think, I'm cured. What they notice instead is that their body stays more available in situations that used to trigger them. Their breath doesn't disappear as quickly. Their posture doesn't collapse or harden as much. They might just say, I feel better. Their attention doesn't immediately tunnel or scatter. And they still feel things, but those feelings no longer hijack their full system. This is the clearest sign that coherence is returning. When structure is online, the body can hold sensation without panic. When energy is regulated, activation doesn't immediately turn into urgency or shutdown. When attention is coherent, thoughts don't spiral just to create control. When identity is stable, anxiety doesn't threaten your sense of self. And so at that point, anxiety stops being a threat and starts behaving more like information. You might notice it shows up as a cue to slow down, or to adjust something, or to pay attention to a boundary that you've been ignoring. But it no longer feels like an emergency that demands your full system. This is also where a lot of people have an unexpected realization. They weren't anxious because something was wrong with them. They were anxious because their system had been carrying more signal than it could hold. So once capacity increases, anxiety changes character. This is why people who have done real somatic integration often say things like, I feel anxious sometimes, but it doesn't run my life anymore. They just feel it as charge that they're able to integrate, metabolize, and use. That's not resignation. That's true regulation. And it's important to say this clearly because integration doesn't mean that you have become passive or flat or a detached automaton. A coherent system still responds. It still mobilizes. It can still feel and act intensely. The difference is that intensity no longer overwhelms the architecture. You can think clearly and you can stay embodied. You can feel activated and remain grounded. You can respond to pressure without losing yourself inside it. That's not calm. That is capacity. Different nervous systems arrive here through different paths. Some need structure and load to stabilize first. Some need help regulating energy. Some need attention to come back into the body. Some need identity coherence, so pressure doesn't collapse them internally. This is why generic anxiety advice so often fails. It treats anxiety as a uniform problem instead of a normal signal arising from different kinds of disorganization. If you've watched this whole series and you have felt seen in different parts of it, that's a really good sign. It means that your system isn't broken, it's complex. If you want clarity on where your anxiety is actually coming from and how your system currently metabolizes it, the Somatic Skins Quiz assessment is linked below, and it will give you that orientation. Think of it like the start of a deeper conversation within this work. And if you already know that you want to go deeper and you would like guided support, rebuilding coherence in a way that actually sticks, this is the work that we do inside the Prestige. We don't manage symptoms. We don't chase calm. We are interested in restoring the conditions internally where anxiety it doesn't have to do the work anymore. You, alive, present, full of vitality, and able to channel that energy powerfully toward what is meaningful for you, that's what we're doing. And if that's what you're looking for, reach out and join us for a season. We would love to have you. If you've made it this far in the video and in the series, thank you so much. We don't take that lightly. Please do consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. And if inspired, we can continue the conversation in the comments below. Till next time.